All right, this is Maxwell. And Maxwell, as you can see, is very excited for my arrival. He gets very excited and likes to jump up on guests. In this technique, what I'm going to do is show you how you can help your dog learn to calm itself down. Now, you see his energy is already calmed down. I'm not trying to pet him, and that's what most guests do, because we'll come into your home and I want to show you that I'm a good guest. I'm going to make friends with your dog. Anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're specifically enhancing and rewarding. If I pet an excited dog, I'm going to make him more excited. So what I'm doing is standing just outside of his reach, and I'm turned sideways to him. And I'm not giving any commands, and the guardian shouldn't give any commands. This is where the dog figures out his own. In a second or so, he's going to kind of, SAT, there we go. And so you see, as soon as I just start to turn towards him, he gets excited and lurches forward, and I turn away. So what I'm saying is through my actions is when you're excited, I'm not interested and I turn away from you. When you're sitting and you're calm, and yeah, that's all right. Just don't worry about it because he won't be able to get too far. When you're sitting and you're calm, then the human wants to pet you. Now he went over to pick up like a rope, and then he's starting to get tangled up a little bit, and it's okay for now. But in the future, if he does, just kind of stand a little bit closer to a wall so he doesn't have, the wall kind of prevents him from blocking. There you go. And let's see what kind of problem-solving skills you have. This way. There you go, buddy. All right. Now, what will happen as, you have a really good looking dog. There you go. So I'm getting a little bit closer. And this is what I do as a behaviorist. I take it one step and and as soon as he gets excited, I back away. So what I do as a behaviorist, I try to break down an activity into small individual steps and help the dog practice the very first step over and over. And I don't move to step number 2 until the dog has step number 1 down. He still doesn't have step number 1 down. So now he's looking at his guardian. Why are you doing this? Now, when we have dogs, there's good-looking dogs like this, a lot of people go, oh, what a good-looking dog! And that's what happens. Yeah. And so you can train your dog to ignore that ridiculousness. So at first, there we go. And as soon as he gets up, and most of us confuse excited for happy when it comes to dogs. But excited is an unbalanced state of mind, just like stress or anxiety or fear or whatever it is. And so as soon as, and you're more apt to make a mistake when you're overexcited. You have a big life decision, you wait and you take some time and you think about it. And so same sort of thing for Maxwell here. Max, there you go, buddy. Is I want him, he's going to make bad decisions when he's overstimulated. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to pet and reinforce that. Now he doesn't have to specifically sit. All he has to do is be calm like he is now. I'm going to reach and then just turn away. And he's going to do everything he can to try to get loose, but then he's going to, after a while, it's going to click. As soon as I'm sitting and calm, people start petting me. As soon as I put my paw on them or jump up, they turn away. And so after a while, he'll just start sitting and offering this sitting behavior on his own, and your guest will be able to go all the way to touching him. Now, the ridiculous voice that I made earlier, what you want to do, here, buddy. There you go. Is you go, and I go under the chin with 2 hands, and I'm going kind of slowly. Eventually, I want to go a little bit faster, and eventually then I can start adding the vocalization component to it. Oh, what a cute dog. Oh, what a cute dog. Oh, what a cute dog. And then you work your way back up to the point where people can be just ridiculous, and your dog looks at them like, you're weird. I'm going to sit here and wait until you pet me, because that's what I've been taught to do. And well, not necessarily taught, but that's what I've learned to do. And it's going to take different lengths of time. And so now you can set him up for success by doing little things like exercising him, taking him for a walk before you have guests come over. Things like that, so you burn off that top level of energy. It's a little bit easier for him to deal. There you go. And he's like to mouth and nip as well?
No, actually.
Okay. This probably just gives a little frustration because he can't reach me. But again, I'm using the leash just to create an environment where he can learn the behavior on his own. All right, let's try to do this one more time. Maxwell, come on over here.
Other side.
Well, you got to come a little bit closer so people can see you with the camera. There we go. Well, this is Maxwell, and this is a technique that you can use if your dog gets overexcited, likes to jump on guests who arrive. Actually, before I do that, let me sum up how you want to practice this. Once a day at least, arrange to have a neighbor or somebody else come over and practice. Neighbors are best. Because a neighbor can come by, it takes 2 seconds, and they can go back home. And if the person just comes in and Max just learns to calm down and then the guest leaves, the reason he gets excited is the guest stays and they pet him and they give him treats and it's a fun, exciting time. Well, people come and you recreate just the excitement of the door, but then the person doesn't actually come in. That'll also lower his excitement level and help him better prepare himself for the future. And again, I'm not telling him to SIT, so the guest should just basically, and some people put a piece of painter's tape and just stand there right at the edge and just wait for him to be calm. So this is a little bit more excited than I'd like. Well, there we go. And as soon as the paw comes up, that's a dominance move. So I immediately stop when he starts doing that. But you can see his energy is a lot calmer, and as you practice, it'll get much, much better. Now, when the guardians who live here can also practice this, because he won't know if it's one of you. Make sure you're not jingling your keys. Call or text ahead of time. Put somebody on, and then when you come in, put them on leash. After a while, he'll just be like, the only way they're going to pet me is if I'm sitting. All right, Maxwell, can we get a nice SIT? That's a good way to end it. These are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that likes to jump up or get excited when guests come to the door.